Hey guys, it's Leesh, and welcome to another episode of Car Confessions. Guys, listen, just now leaving work. Trying to make sure this camera, can you see me? I think you can see me, yes. If you're listening, hey. But yeah, I am just leaving work, y'all. It's Wednesday, and it has been such a wild week, right? Like, I don't know about y'all, but this week for me has been so busy, right? But good things, like really good things are happening and, getting stuff done. But I'm finding like that we're all in my household, like getting home by 7. Like last night, we didn't get done with a lot of stuff at home until like almost 11 o'clock. And for some people, that's like the norm, that's how they operate. But I'm normally in the bed, y'all, by 7:30, 8 o'clock tops. Just gonna keep it real. And so this is major for me to be up late like this, eating later. So it's just, a different a schedule. That's the word. I was like, what word am I trying to find here? So my schedule's a little off. It's a bit different these past few days, but praying that it gets back to my usual, please. Because I love going to bed early. I don't know about y'all. When I was a kid, I would go to bed, you know, any time of the night. There was no schedule. I was just living La Vida Loca. Um, and even as, a kid, like I'm thinking, like my mom would say, oh, it's time to go to bed. But there was never a time, right? I didn't know at 7 o'clock, right? For, that as an example, I was supposed to be in the bed. It was just whenever my mom said it's time for bed, done. And maybe she did have a time and I just didn't know about it. But it just continued on. Let me get over here. Continued on into like my adolescence and early adult life, where I was just kind of like all over the place with my sleeping habits and didn't really have a routine. I mean, honestly, I really didn't have a true routine until about a few years ago. Honest to goodness. I just said to myself, like, I need to really be mindful of my rest and not, overextend myself in ways that don't rejuvenate me for the next day. And like I said, this week is, it's out of the ordinary for me and my family. And my daughter, because she's in, school, she does have some late nights because, studying and stuff like that. But always encouraging her to find those times to rest, whether it's like, making time during the weekend to just kind of like regroup, take time for naps when, obviously when she's not in school, but really just encouraging rest. And I feel like these past few years, COVID, that time too included, was a time where a lot of us really started, really evaluating like what are we doing with this life, right? Like, should I be working myself to the bone, right? Should I, overextend myself with each and everything in my life, right? And that was for me, that was huge because it allowed me to see that, oh, I can rest. Like, there's nothing wrong with resting, you know? There's nothing wrong with making that schedule for myself to rest. Because I mean, with other things in my life, I make a schedule for it. I get up every morning, every weekday morning, that is, at 5 to work out. That's crucial for me. I injured myself actually at the beginning of this year. So, for a lot of this year, I was just kind of, in physical therapy and recovering and all that kind of stuff. I'm actually still in physical therapy, but things are so much better. You have no idea. But all that to say, like, I've made it a point to pencil in time for other things. And it's like, I should also ensure that my rest is also a part of that process, Um, because I think, at least for me at one point, I took for granted sleep. Seriously. And now, y'all, what? Even though last night I went to bed pretty late, I still feel I don't feel as exhausted. But I know if this was a routine for me, like if I was constantly in this mode of, going to bed at 11, almost 11:30, or maybe even midnight-ish, and then waking up at 5, going to work, doing all the things in the, that I do during the day, every single day, it would wear on me. Uh, Physically, mentally, spiritually, like the whole nine. And it's so funny because I was talking to one of my coworkers today about this, and that really it hit me when he mentioned this. He commutes into work, so his commute is well over an hour. He lives out in Long Island, and Long Island, if you don't know New York City, depending on what part of New York City you're going to, as it relates to Long Island, it could be 30 minutes, could be almost 2 hours. I mean, and it could even be longer than that because Long Island's it's long. There you go. But it's a pretty large island. And so, where he lives, he was telling me that his commute, he has to be up at 4 a.m. to get down where we work, like around 6, what did he say? No, 7-ish. And I was like, oh my gosh. But his commute home, like affords him to get home like around, I think like 8 o'clock, he said, or something like that. Then you do all your things, you know, with going home and all that kind of stuff. And then, he says he might get to bed like around 11, and then he wakes up again at 4 o'clock in the morning and does it all over again. And I'm just like, wow, like that is intense. And then he's also sharing with me all of his, some health issues he has. And he's like, I know that if I could get to bed earlier and if I could rest more, that would help with these health issues I'm having. And like I said, that really hit me because I don't know that many people correlate certain things like rest uh, with the things that are going on in their everyday health. And maybe they do, but I really don't think that, because I think if more people really took sleep and rest as serious as, you would with like your diet or certain medicine regimens, I think it would change so many things um, in our lives, I mean, that's just my opinion, right? But also too, it's true. Like this is not just me just blowing off how I think and feel. Like this is something that is proven. It's like evidence based that rest is essential to overall health, and working yourself to the bone. And I can't think of that quote. What was it? I'll sleep when I die. That's what it is. I'll sleep when I die. Like that mentality. Um, at one point it did serve people, right? And you felt like, oh, I'm gonna grind with all, and do all the things, and whatever else that it relates to with, this, hustle culture. And it's just interesting now to see this shift within myself. Like I said, the past few years, this has been me really making these changes with how I see myself with resting and sleep and all those things. So it's so important, y'all, that we take the time to rest. We take the time to acknowledge that rest is important, right? And that we deserve it. Like we deserve to rest. And it sounds so simple, but it is vital to our overall well-being. Like it really, really is. Because even now, like I said, I don't feel completely exhausted, but you kind of have like almost that glaze kind of like feeling like, whoo, if I keep this up, my God, I'm getting to that point. I mean, it's also the end of the day too, but normally by the end of the day, I'm not this kind of like, so yeah. Definitely encourage y'all. If you don't have like a sleep routine, or if it's difficult for you to get a sleep routine, um, find other ways to rest. Right? We don't have to constantly overextend ourselves. And I'm preaching to myself too. Uh, I'm getting better and better at not overextending myself, and just knowing that things are going to get done. They're going to get done. It might not be exactly when I anticipated, or when I had planned it, but it's going to get done. But rest has to be a priority for sure. Definitely a priority, y'all. Leaving work, like I said earlier, totally changing the subject here, but I'm left work, getting off a little later than usual. We had a meeting at work, and this meeting was kind of like a meeting that where you go over, like just talking about like the climate of the school and just really just kind of like giving you an idea of what's going on in the school. So they had different people in the different divisions talking about their divisions and the things that the kids are doing, and then they're on the administrative side, and so it was really nice. And it's just nice to have those moments to really get an idea of what's going on, because when you're in your own little bubble wherever you're working, you don't think about what's happening in other divisions or other departments or anything like that. You just worry about your department and how you're flourishing and whatever, right? And that can go for any place you work at. But it was beautiful to really experience that, because it provides appreciation for what everyone provides in the community. And I don't know, because I've been working in schools for a very long time. I don't know if all places of work do something like this, but I think it's vital, because I think sometimes we take for granted what people do, or we assume what people don't do, and all these things, and then we create these narratives around who's doing this work, who's doing that, how we're more important than these people, so it just creates a lot of like unnecessary ridiculousness. And it's not to say that, once you leave these types of meetings, you have the same type of mindset as me. Some people could be, that was a total waste of an hour and whatever of my life, blah, whatever. But for those like me, I think it's important because it really gives you a sense of like, wow, I work with some really awesome people. And these kids that are being educated by these awesome people are so blessed. You know what I'm saying? Like it's wild. I just think like things like this would bring a bit more of appreciation to places of employment. If if you're working for someone besides yourself, and maybe you just do your own little presentation for yourself. You're self-employed, but like, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. These are the amazing things that are happening. I don't know, whatever. I'm just spewing things at this point. But yeah, it took longer than I anticipated the meeting, but it was really a nice um, gesture for the school to really like give you a snapshot of what's happening and how things are moving and grooving. So it was really, really cool in that way. Because I'm on the, like, I'm going to be late. I think I told y'all I started therapy again, and I'm supposed to be there at 5:30. Right now it's 5:25. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, therapy has been pretty cool. It's been pretty cool, guys. My new therapist, I like her a lot. She's very relatable. And I feel like at this point in this process with therapy, it's helped me really start being clear on what I want in life. Not completely like, oh, I got it all figured out, boom, here I move, here I go and done. But it's really giving me more clarity around, what's important to me, how I want to move forward in life, and, what, what I need to remove or lessen in my life. So whether that be certain things, certain people, whatever, it's giving me that clarity, and it's giving me the green light to do it. Because a lot of times I find that like when I am apprehensive about something, or I get that gut feeling where it's like, I don't know if this is right, because I don't have clarity around how to move forward with it, I continuously find myself in that same pattern, right? And I'm just milling through it, and it's just like, why can't I get past this? And it's because I don't have clarity around how to move forward. I don't have guidance. I don't have the skills. And I feel like therapy has been really beneficial in that way. So it's been really cool. So for those of y'all who are, either on the fence about getting a therapist, even though it's hard, listen, took me a minute to kind of like get it together and find someone that worked for me. But yeah, it's been really cool in that way. So I'm grateful for my therapist, and I'm grateful for the ability to see a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Because not everyone has or is afforded, you know, these types of services. So I'm really blessed and I'm thankful to her. And yeah, so like I said, I'm like rushing to get home. I'm like, yikes, bites. It's crazy. I'm like so random today. But here's another thing too, guys. Like, my tire, one of my tires, he's saying low pressure. Have you ever experienced this? Like, so I went to the tire place yesterday for them to take a look at it, and they claimed they fixed it. The low pressure thing is still on. I'm like, what is happening? Like, I thought they fixed it. So I'm like worried, and I thought after a while you drive around, like it should like resolve itself. I'm telling you. So I'm probably going to have to go back to the place and be like, look, friend, what is happening? Seriously. Because it's still, the light is still on. Like, what the hell is going on here, guys? Get on this highway. I literally have 3 minutes to get home. It's not gonna happen. But, well, listen, it's gonna happen as best as it's gonna happen. Let's just say that. Luckily, I have food ready, so we can just kind of like eat, and you know, I don't have to worry about that. But then after that, going back to the whole original thing about this whole car confessions, I have 2 auditions I have to record tonight. So I am moving and grooving. Yo, it's crazy. So praying that I can get everything done, including eating dinner, talking to my family, all this stuff, and be in bed by 8:30, please. Uh, because this is throwing me off. This is really throwing me off. You know what I'm saying? Like this late night stuff, and then like the rest of the week, tomorrow, Friday. Oh, it's gonna be wild because tomorrow, what's tomorrow? Thursday. I have to get my hair cut, as you can see, girl. If you can see me, you'd be like, girl, what's going on with the hair? I get my hair cut, get my eyebrows done. And Friday, we fly out to Atlanta. A friend of mine is getting married. I'm so excited for him. He's wanted to get married for as long as I can remember. So this is really exciting. So flying to Atlanta, also excited to see family that I haven't seen in a while. So it's a busy week. It's like, but like I said, like, it's all good stuff. It's just busy, you know? So just trying to maintain as best as I can and know that this week is just a wonky week. Wonky week. Wonky week. That was a funny way of trying to get that out there. So yeah, I am pushing it. It is 5:20. Oh, it's 5:30. Child, the ghetto. Woo-wee. I'll get there as soon as I can. But let me focus. Like for real, for real. And I will see y'all next week. All right, love you. Bye.